Hello and welcome, my dear friend. Some moments don't feel like destiny when you're in them. They feel like survival. And yet, there was a decision you made, quietly, with no one watching, no one clapping, no one offering confirmation, just you and the weight of it. It didn't feel heroic at the time. It felt hard, confusing, maybe even wrong. You questioned it. You replayed it in your mind 1,000 different ways, but you still made it, and heaven moved because of it. This isn't about a loud yes or a dramatic no. This is about the decision you made when your soul was trembling, but you stayed aligned anyway. It was a fork in the road, not the kind people write about in books, but the kind heaven writes about in scrolls. You didn't know it then, but you weren't just choosing your next step. You were reshaping the blueprint of your future. There's a difference between obedience and alignment. Obedience says, I'll follow the rules. But alignment says, I'll follow the whisper, even if it costs me. And you did. You followed the whisper, even when it broke your plans, even when it didn't feel fair, even when it meant walking away from things that once looked like answers. That decision? It was a signal, not to people, to God, to time, to everything that was written before you even arrived here. That decision told heaven, they're ready. Let me give you a visual. Imagine an architect building a massive structure, but one beam, just one, is placed a few inches off-center. You can't see it right away. It doesn't seem like much. But follow that misalignment forward 20 stories, and the whole thing leans. That's what your decision corrected. It may have felt small, but it recentered the foundation of everything coming after. Because when you realigned, everything under your calling had to realign too. Timelines, people, opportunities, delays that were never delays, just blueprints being restructured. And here's what's wild. Most people don't even know the power of the choice you made. They'll never know the pressure you were under. They'll never know what you had to release or how much it cost you to walk away from what was comfortable. But heaven knew. And God didn't just observe it. He recorded it. Not as a test result, but as a time stamp. A moment where the timeline split and your name was etched in it like a cornerstone. You want to know why the energy has felt strange lately? Why certain doors are rattling in their hinges? Why people you once felt safe with now feel foreign? Because your future is catching up to your decision. You changed direction on a soul level, and your atmosphere is updating. The timeline you were heading toward before no longer exists. You're in the middle of something that looks like disruption, but is actually divine reconstruction. And here's the part no one says out loud. You were never meant to be the echo of someone else's strength. You were always meant to become the model of sacred courage. That's why God is lifting you in a way that's not flashy, but is unmistakable. You won't be the loudest, but people will feel your presence and wonder how you got here. And heaven will answer, they chose correctly, when no one told them what to choose. There are ripple effects already moving in your favor. You haven't seen all of them yet, but the vibration of your obedience has reached places your voice never could. That one quiet moment, the one you thought was just survival, it was actually heaven's confirmation, and what's coming now isn't a reward, it's a response. There's something sacred about people who choose alignment without confirmation, who adjust their internal compass when there's no applause, no map, no voice saying, yes, you're doing it right. You didn't wait for a prophecy. You didn't demand a sign. You didn't stay stuck just because it was familiar. You listened to that still, sometimes irritating, whisper that wouldn't leave you alone. And that's what made you different. Because the truth is, most people don't shift until life collapses. Most people don't turn until the fire's already burning. But you adjusted before the explosion. That's why heaven didn't just record your obedience. It responded to your timing. That's why this elevation is different. Because it's not reactive, it's prophetic. See, people will think you're being promoted now, but they'll miss what really happened. This isn't a promotion, it's a revelation. God isn't lifting you up so you can be seen. He's lifting you up because someone needs to see what it looks like when quiet faith reshapes everything. He's not showing you off. He's showing what alignment looks like. And you, my dear friend, are the role model to others. Not because you were perfect, but because you were faithful when no one else knew what you were facing. Some people are going to be confused by your peace. They'll wonder how you're so calm now, how you're glowing, how you're growing, how you now walk through open doors as if they were always waiting, after a lifetime of locked ones and quiet battles. But they won't understand the grief that came before the shift. They weren't there the night you said no to what almost kept you trapped. They weren't in the room when your soul trembled and you didn't flinch. That's the part they'll never get, and they're not supposed to. This journey wasn't designed to be witnessed. It was designed to be confirmed in the Spirit first. And now that confirmation is bleeding into your atmosphere, not in loud explosions, but in subtle, irreversible changes. The calls are coming back. The rooms are adjusting to your presence. Your name is circling the right people. The favor that was paused is being reinstated, not because you pushed, but because you paused and listened. That's the kind of maturity heaven can trust. Let's be clear about something. This next chapter is going to look nothing like the one before it. You're not going back to rebuild what broke. You're not returning to old doors asking for another chance. Why? Because this isn't restoration. It's redirection. And in this redirection, God's not trying to fix what you lost. He's revealing why you had to lose it. He's not asking you to relive the pain. He's asking you to represent what's possible when someone chooses truth over comfort. That's what a role model does. They live what others only talk about. You've become the example, not because you chased status, but because you walked with integrity when it would have been easier to stay silent, small or cynical. And now, without begging or explaining, your life is becoming the evidence. Evidence that God sees in secret, that heaven keeps score differently, that timelines can bend around obedience. Because you kept believing, you kept trusting despite all the doubts and noise. There's a younger version of you still healing from what never made sense. And now, you're becoming the very answer to that confusion. The timeline you're stepping into isn't the reward for enduring. It's the embodiment of who you've become because of what you chose. There was no crowd cheering you on, no one clapping when you closed that chapter, no one sending flowers when you deleted the contact, turned off the noise, or said yes to a door no one else believed in. But God saw it. God felt the cost of it. So what happens now? You continue walking, not like someone who's trying to prove their worth, but like someone who finally knows it. You keep your posture. You let the reward come without chasing it. You let the confirmation land without forcing it. You let God finish what obedience already set in motion. Because from this point forward, your life is a reference point for what happens when someone listens early and moves anyway. You are not a follower of trends. You are the template for transformation. That decision you made alone, it wasn't just right. It was revolutionary. And now, the new timeline begins. Thank you so much for taking this journey with me. If you found value in this message, please like the video and share it with others who might benefit. Don't forget to subscribe and continue your amazing journey by watching one of the videos showing on your screen that resonates with you the most. See you there.